What is up, everybody? Welcome to another Diablo Immortal video. Today I have on the channel here Smiley TK, Chosen, and Dark Microtransaction. What's up, guys? How is it going?
Going good.
Thanks for having me, Skratch. Good to see you, brother.
Absolutely. So today, guys, we're going to talk about the Paragon system, kind of like the leveling system, how is it going to work in Diablo Immortal once the game is going to get released. We are almost there, guys. Are you all excited? How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, 11 out of 10 hype, bro. Obviously, I mean, full steam ahead.
11 out of 10?
Chew.
That's low for Darth.
That sounds definitely pretty excited. So I know some of you guys might be a bit more familiar, even than me, with the whole system and how it's gonna work. We actually have a nice website right here to give us a bit of information about the World Paragon improvements. Which one of you feels a bit more confident to walk us a bit through it, you know?
I mean, I feel pretty confident with the World Paragon system. If you want a basic breakdown of it,
yes, please.
I actually think it's one of the coolest systems, to be honest. Like in the entirety of the game, I just did a video covering this because I think they did a good job with this. So there's two things they want in the game. One is they want it to be infinitely grindable with no energy system. Like they want you to be able to sit down and say, I want to get stronger, so let me just put as many hours as I possibly can into it, and I will get stronger because I put hours into it. So they wanted that in the game. But they also wanted it where the Paragon levels don't get, for other people that have played like Diablo 3, for instance, they don't want it to be where it's like you start the game and then your friend is 85 bajillion Paragon levels above you and it just instantly makes you hate the game and not want to play it. I mean, I think we've all been in the situation where we've been way behind the people we're playing with and it just feels terrible. So they're trying to mitigate both of these requests at the same time. So the solution that they came up with is the World Paragon system, which is basically the server itself like has an NPC more or less that's like playing the game too and brings its server Paragon level up every day. I think last time in the beta they said it was up like 2 levels a day or something, meaning there's sort of a ghost on a Mario Kart track that everyone's racing, and if you're ahead of it, you're going to be slowed down a little bit, but if you're behind it, you're going to get a boost. So what ends up effectively happening is the very, very top players are going to be getting 25% experience. They're getting 1/4 of the experience every time they kill a mob. But the people who are way behind, who started like, let's say later, like they didn't start the game for the first 2 weeks, they're going to get 200% experience. So it's effectively 8 times what the people at the top is getting. It's a catch-up mechanic, for lack of a better words. But then you're going to ask yourself, okay, well, if that's the way it is, then how exactly does that reward the people who are hardcore fans, the one that grind the game every day? So the way they balanced it was they made it where the item drops, and everyone who plays Diablo knows that basically items in this game are what the game's all about and grinding your gear. Those are infinitely grindable. You can still grind as much as you want for the item salvage. You can still grind and get all of the rewards that you're going to get, and you still are getting the experience. You're just getting 25% of it, but the items, you can still make your character stronger as much as you possibly want to by rolling for better and better and better rows and just grinding your ass off in the rifts, basically. So they found what people love about Diablo the most, which is trying to grind and get the gear, and they nerfed the part that makes people frustrated, which is trying to catch up to other people's Paragon levels. So I thought it was a nice balance, but there's been pros and cons on both sides, I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, definitely compared to other games where usually if you're late to the party, you're going to be late to the party unless you're willing to invest like tons and tons of money. And even like that, you're still not going to be able to catch up with most of the players in a decent manner of time. Usually it takes you ages to do it. So I feel like it's definitely a good system. And the main issue with most of the games is that either it's just catered to casuals, either only to hardcore players. It's no kind of like a middle ground. So I like them that they're trying to bring a middle ground in here with them, you know. What do you guys think about it? Smiley, Chosen, Dart?
Smiley, go ahead. I always hog the mic. You take it off.
I really like the system because, like you said, it caters to, I mean, everybody has a chance at something. Even like the people that are behind and really, really late to the party per se, they have a way to catch up in a sense. But I like the Paragon system in general, even from like Diablo 3 carrying over to Immortal, I guess, because it just gives you a reason to grind infinitely, like Darth said earlier. And you just can keep playing, and you don't just cap off at the level 60 or whatever the cap is, and you can just keep getting levels on top of that and just get a benefit out of it as well. So I think that's a really nice thing to have in the game in general.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
What do you think about it, Chosen?
Yeah. Darth kind of covered everything I was gonna say. It's a new mechanic to me. Like So I was a pretty hardcore grinder on Diablo 3, and the way there's always like a way to kind of catch up, and the way it worked in Diablo 3 was you would have a friend that would catch you up. So you'd have a friend that's playing for 2 weeks. They could like feed you gear because as long as you were in the same game, you could drop them stuff and really catch them up. In this game, it looks like the catch up mechanic is going to be like Darth said, you're chasing that ghost, which is the Paragon level of the server, and if you're behind it, you get this massive boost to your XP, which is pretty rewarding because it lets the person feel like they're doing it themselves and they don't have to rely on someone else kind of boosting them. So if you're not able to play the first week, you're busy at work or whatever, you join your friends on week 2 or 3, you're going to be getting double the progression they are, and you feel like you're doing it yourself, you're still earning it. So I do like that design. I've never played in a system like that, but on paper it looks like it should be pretty fun.
Yeah, definitely sounds pretty interesting. It's kind of like they're saying it here. They wanted to create a good environment, especially when you're playing with friends, you know, to don't feel like if one of them has time to crash it non-stop, the other one plays like once a week or plays half an hour a day, you know, to don't make it like it feels so different for all of them, like they're at well
Because the
the
boosting
parts
is not
basically.
the boosting is not like a fun mechanic. Like in Diablo 3, I never enjoyed like sitting in front of a rift just waiting to be power leveled by the person who played more than me. I never thought that was a fun mechanic in any game I played. I always thought it was more interesting to log in and see like, oh, my friend's really, really strong because he played a lot. Well, that's fine. And in particular, I know there's some complaint about like, okay, well, they're nerfing the Paragon level, so I can't grind and get my Paragon level advantage. It's like, well, you can. It's just the Paragon level advantage is going to be nerfed. Like, there's still going to be a significant advantage. You still can go and grind through it. It's not like if you put in 4 hours, you still gain 0. Like, you're going to gain an hour worth of basically experience. But what it's going to do is make it where instead of, oh, everyone's level 100 and they see a level 600 guy and they're like, oh, he's crazy. It's like the people that are like from 100 to like 150 or something are still going to be crazy because you know they're pushing through that penalty XP. So all it's doing is kind of moving the goalpost down a little bit and adding longevity to the game, I think is another point they're doing it too.
Well, and that's a great point. But even on top of that, like the people who are playing more, they don't even really need a Paragon advantage because they are going to get more drops. They're going to get more loot. They're going to have better items. Like they're already getting an advantage for playing the game more. Like they don't need a massive Paragon advantage on top of that because the odds of you getting good loot and having a well-geared character is obviously going to improve if you're playing way more than someone else. So honestly, even without a Paragon advantage, they're still going to have that advantage.
It's
Yeah,
kind of a counter mechanic too. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was gonna say like they will get the advantage of having much better gear, you know, the longer you farm it. We kind of know like all these games it's all about the gear, you know. So the more you farm that gear, the stronger you become. So leveling up probably is not gonna be as important at that level, I guess. No, when you're so into the game, I guess. No.
And
Yeah.
sorry, you go ahead, Darth.
I was just gonna say it's also kind of good to have that mechanic because I think what people are worried about is like snowballing, which is the people at the top are going to be doing the rifts faster and they're going to be the immortals, so they're going to have all the bonuses and there's going to snowball. So having mechanics that sort of nerf the top end a little bit and then buff the people coming up under, and because they're doing it for the shadows, right? Like it's harder and harder for the immortals to hold, while at the same time making it where the people that are way ahead on the server are also pushing through like a harder barrier. I think that's a really good way to hopefully keep the PvP disparity down. There's always going to be a disparity because of pay to win. We all know that already. But hopefully what it does is it cut the head off of it a little bit as well and make it a little bit more manageable. So I could see a lot of benefits from this type of system.
Yep, great points. And the only thing I was going to add was that the like it's important to remember games massively change, especially AAA games with a big budget. Like, you know, the game that we come from, what, you know, back in the day, Raid Shadow Legends, look how different it changed even just 1 year after release. It was like a completely new game. So like Diablo Immortal, it's going to evolve. Like what players like, what players don't like. These things are going to change. These things are going to be built up. There's going to be more sets. There's going to be more gems. There's going to be more mechanics, more dungeons. Like it's going to evolve fast based on the feedback that they're getting. So we can't like just think it's going to be, oh, what it is on day one, it's going to be what it is forever. It's going to keep snowballing like every big budget game does.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing, and that's kind of like the the whole way of them keeping the players engaged for long term, basically. You know, like if the game is gonna stay the same, 1 year later you're gonna be like, do I want to farm again the same dungeon non-stop? You know, like it's nothing else in here, nothing else coming to challenge me, nothing new to the game. So it's definitely a thing that needs to happen in every single game that wants to keep players engaged and not just make a quick milk for the cash and run away, you know. So what do you guys think about the battle pass here and the things that you can kind of like purchase with it?
Well, you get legendary. You get to choose 1 of 6 legendaries in it, which is pretty good. And from what I understand, the battle pass is supposed to be like one of basically the best value out of the entire shop. You know, I think the battle pass seems, from what I've heard from the feedback, is like the one thing everyone's like, yeah, it's pretty good. Like, you're going to buy that first, and then you're actually going to work on it if you're trying to play the game as not free to play. But it's one of the cheaper things, so I don't really have problems with like $5 purchases in these games. It's not really like the biggest.
Yeah,
it's not really the biggest problem.
I feel the same. Yeah, like it's like a small way to say, okay, I like your game, support you. You know, thanks for keeping me hyped. You know, keeping me busy while I'm grinding the game and stuff. I think buying a battle pass is not that big of a deal, honestly. And if it's rewarding, it's definitely something worth to consider and picking up and stuff. But yeah, I think we can wrap it up here, guys. Pretty hyped about the whole system, the way it's gonna work. Casual players can actually keep up the step with the more hardcore players. It's definitely a good system to see in games because most of the times it creates such a massive gap that it's almost impossible to keep up the step with each other, at least in levels or whatever is gonna get affected by it.
I mean, there's the legendary gems are going to be pretty hard to keep up with, but
yeah,
at
but
least
that's
the Paragon level.
Yeah,
Paragon level is a good system.
Yeah, I mean, every game has its own way on giving advantages to people that like to spend a lot of money. Hopefully, that's gonna get a bit adjusted because I've heard all sorts of things, but I'm not sure if it's actually gonna get a bit adjusted with it or no. We're gonna find out once the game is released, I guess, and probably how. Chosen said as well that the game is gonna evolve slowly, so we're gonna see if it's gonna be a bit less of a problem with that.
I mean, like just from the last like 8 months, like from the alpha to the beta, Echo Hack did a great job articulating this when we were talking with him, but he was comparing it to World of Warcraft, like getting 3 expansions already. Like that's how fast it's changed and evolved just since the alpha and the beta. So yeah, I anticipate they're not going to want the game to fail. Like it's going to evolve quickly. So I would anticipate it to get a lot better over the course of the next year.
Definitely. Well, thanks for being on the channel, guys. I'm gonna leave their links in the description down below. Make sure you guys head over and subscribe to all of them. Super hyped for the game, guys. We have a few weeks left, and appreciate all of you guys watching, and I'll catch you all soon in the next one.